guys, it's Jeff from Pressure Luck. Well, like I said, we're in the colder months now, and I was going to be all about soups this cold season, and let me tell you something, today's no exception. Today we're making a classic soup, a soup that goes really, really well with cheese. But the soup itself isn't cheese, but the soup itself is more vegetable. Well, it is a vegetable. Actually, technically, it's a fruit. Guys, we're making an amazing creamy tomato soup that's going to really blow your mind because not only is this soup absolutely sensational, but we're gonna top it off with some grilled cheese croutons. Oh, I know. Guys, let's go right to the Instant Pot and make some unbelievable, not a department store kind of tomato soup, but an amazing tomato soup nonetheless. Oh, I can't wait.
So we're gonna start with one medium yellow onion, diced up. I'm gonna take one bunch of scallions, sliced up and added to my onions. And then I'm gonna take about 3 normal sized carrots and slice them into discs like this and then add it to our scallions and onions.
And by the way, the reason we use the carrots is because it adds a lovely, lovely hint of sweetness to the soup.
Alright, now to our Instant Pot, we're gonna add in 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil. And then come down to the pot and hit the saute function, and we're gonna adjust so we're on the more or the high setting. And we're gonna wait until that reads hot. And now that we're reading hot, we're gonna add in our vegetables. So we're going to add in our carrots, scallions, and onions. So we're going to want to stir that up with all of our olive oil and let this cook for a good 5 to 10 minutes until everything softens up slightly. And then we're going to let it set and simmer, and then we're going to stir every few. So this process right now allows for some serious flavor to be released into our soon-to-be soup. And after about 10 minutes or so of stirring and setting, it's going to look like this, and it's going to smell awesome. Tons of flavor has been released already, and making an amazing base for this soup. Now I'm going to take a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. So I'm going to take the tomato paste out of the can, add it to the pot. And then mix the tomato paste so it's nice and combined with everything else. It really creates this beautiful foundation for it. It smells amazing, it looks gorgeous, and fabulous. So let it simmer there for about a minute, and make sure while we're mixing everything with our tomato paste, we scrape and deglaze the bottom of our pan to make sure it doesn't stick. It shouldn't stick too bad because we have oil in there, but let's just make sure it doesn't. And it looks and smells gorgeous. Okay, this base is looking superb. Now I'm gonna add in 2 tablespoons of cooking sherry. And make sure we really deglaze the bottom of the pan with that sherry. And look at this beautiful base we have going on here, guys. Okay, now it's time to add in 1 cup of vegetable broth. And now we need some tomatoes in there. This would not be tomato soup without tomatoes. We're gonna use a bunch of them, guys. We're gonna be using 3 28-ounce cans of whole peeled plum tomatoes, or something of that nature. Don't get the crushed ones, get the whole peeled plum tomatoes. Let's add these cans in there, including the juices, the whole shebang, all of them. All right. And give everything a quick little stir around in there, and we're going to pressure cook it. But first, we want to add in 1 tablespoon of dried sweet basil, a 1/2 teaspoon of dried thyme,
1 tablespoon of Old Bay seasoning, secret ingredient,
and 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. Now let's give everything a good and final stir before we get that lid on there. Let's also make sure we deglaze, meaning really scrape the bottom of the pan. There should be nothing stuck to it, but just for good measure. And now we are all ready to cook. Secure our lid on top of the pot, make sure we're in sealing position, and we'll come down to the pot, hit keep warm cancel, then we're gonna hit manual or pressure cook depending on the model you have, and I'm just gonna cook this, guys, for simply 5 minutes. That's it, only 5 minutes. Okay, now while our soup's cooking, it's time to make those incredible grilled cheese croutons. I'm gonna use my favorite kind of bread for this. I'm using a rye pumpernickel swirl. Pepperidge Farm makes it, but you can really use any kind of bread of your choice. And now we're gonna make some grilled cheese. Let's go. Now you can make the grilled cheese any way you prefer to do it, but if you wanna watch how I do it, here you go. I'm gonna be using 4 slices of this rye pumpernickel bread, and I'm going to take like a nice spreadable butter, and then butter 1 side of each piece of bread. We want to be generous with our butter when we spread it on 1 side of each piece of bread because we want it to be nice and buttery and toasty when we grill it on the pan. And that ought to do it for 1 side of the bread. Now we don't want to butter both sides of the bread, just 1 side of each piece of bread. And repeat that for the rest. And there we go, 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of delightfully buttered bread. And I'm telling you, the spreadable butter makes the biggest difference for this. And then use a cheese of your choice. Whatever you use, you want it to be melty. I'm using Chris Kraft singles for this, but you can use cheddar, you can use Swiss, anything that is melty. And it's gonna be 3 slices of cheese per sandwich. So let's go to a frying pan on the stove and just put a little bit more butter in there. And then turn it on so we have a medium heat going here. and let the butter melt. And then move that butter around a bit in the frying pan so it gets kind of all over the place. Alright, and now that we're bubbling nice and good, we're going to take our first slice of bread, butter side down on the other butter, and leave it there, and then put our cheese on it. There we go. Let's make sure the cheese is as close to staying on the bread as possible. And then just overlap it until we're completely covered there. And let's just make sure we leave this, cooking for about 1 minute on this side. We don't want it to overdo it, so just check on it with a spatula. And now let's cover it with the other slice of bread with the butter side up, and then just take a spatula and just lightly press down. And then after about 45 seconds to a minute on one side, let's flip our sandwich over, and that's absolutely perfect. Do you see that? It's kind of got a little bit of a crunch going on. That's exactly how we want it. And now let's let the other side cook there for about 45 seconds to a minute. Alright, and let's just give it a little flip and check that out. And we are absolutely perfect. We have a nice little bit of a toastiness going on here. The cheese is perfectly melted. So let's get our perfect grilled cheese out of the pan, transfer it to a plate, and now let's repeat the same thing with these pieces of bread. And we're done with our second sandwich, and let's just leave those there to cool for a few while our soup continues to cook. Now that it's done cooking, let's do a quick release. Now take our beautiful grilled cheese sandwiches and transform them into grilled cheese croutons. Now this is why it's important to use a cheese that's kind of melty, and I really think that Kraft Singles works really well for this, or like a Velveeta, because they kind of set, because they're more of a processed cheese, and whatever, it's easier to have it cut apart that way as opposed to being super ooey and gooey. And we also want it to rest a little bit because that makes it easier to cut through into individual mini grilled cheeses, aka croutons. And the pin just dropped, so let's take the lid off, and, well, it looks like a lot of tomatoes. Alright, we have one very important step to do now.
And it involves one of my favorite kitchen gadgets, the immersion blender.
Let's take our immersion blender and start blending. We want to pulverize everything that is in this pot into basically a puree. And then really go over each one of these tomatoes and then blend them up, the carrots, everything. Alright, we're getting there. Now let's just do a little bit of a sweep and just keep going and just do a little presses from the top and then press down. Do that all over. And we're looking perfect now. Awesome. Alright, now let's add some heavy cream in there. We're going to add in a whole pint or 2 cups worth of it. And then stir that up with a spoon, and it's going to turn that beautiful creamy color that we all love with the tomato soup. And look at our beautiful, thick, silky, gorgeous, creamy tomato soup. Look at that. Absolutely sensational. Now we just have one more thing to add to that, and that's going to be some seasoned salt. I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of Lowry's, and then just stir that in, and then we are going to be absolutely perfect. And you could also shake in a little bit of black pepper if you want to. And of course, the salt and pepper is always to taste, but I think 1 tablespoon of Lowry's seasoned salt at the end is the ultimate flavor set there. All right, let's get our ladle, and then let's ladle it into some bowls. Perfect. I'm gonna do about 4 ladles worth per bowl. All right, look at that. Beautiful texture, absolutely sublime. Now let's top it off with our grilled cheese. So our grilled cheese might have cooled down by now a little bit. That's absolutely fine because the bread is still toasty and crunchy how we want it, and the cheese is just gonna get warm again when it goes into the hot soup. So let's just put it on top of our delicious soup and garnish it up gorgeously. There we go. And we can squeeze 1 more in there. All right, perfect. Let's serve it up. Who wants some?
The best part of every video, the taste test. Here we go. Look at this. A beautiful grilled cheese crouton with some of the tomato soup. Ooh. Oh. Now, grilled cheese and tomato soup go hand in hand with each other. Kind of like, apple pie goes to 4th of July. And this stuff is pretty much some of the most unbelievable comfort food you will ever find. Oh, the offsetting of the two are unbelievable. But forget even about the grilled cheese croutons, which are insane in their own right. The soup itself is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, look at this beautiful, thick consistency the soup is. It's absolutely divine. The flavor is amazing. You know why? Because sometimes tomato soups really just taste like tomato juice or like tomato sauce. This actually tastes like a rich tomato soup because of all the wonderful little spices we put in there, the Worcestershire sauce, the Old Bay, the seasoned salt at the end there, some of the thyme in there, the basil. It's just everything. An absolutely incredible soup for any cold day. If it's snowing outside, this is an amazing soup to make. Comfort food at its finest. Wow. Richard, what do you think?
It's excellent.
Oh, for more recipes like these, if you like easy to follow recipes with incredible results, go to pressureluckcooking.com, hover over any photo on any recipe, you'll see a little save button in the upper left corner, pin it to any board you want on Pinterest. Go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/pressureluckcooking, and like that page. You're gonna get updates about new recipes, about giveaways. Just had a contest where I gave away a free Instant Pot Ultra. I did one of those earlier this year too. And you're gonna get updates on pricing for great items for your Instant Pot, all that stuff right there. Live videos once a week. Follow me on Twitter at PressureLuck. Instagram, I'm there too. YouTube, subscribe to me on YouTube. Sometimes there are videos that come out there before they come up anywhere else. Thank you so much, guys, and I really hope you enjoy this incredible tomato soup, because I know right now that I might not eat anything else again this entire week. It's that freaking good.
Can you bring a glass of milk?
He always wants something.